to Godly Play. I'm so happy to be back with all of you. I hope you'll enjoy the story I have for you today. So last week we did the story of Joseph from the Great Family, and this week we're going to do the story of Moses. You might remember Moses from the 10 Best Ways story and the Exodus story. So we're going to talk about Moses today. And elements of this story come from Deuteronomy and from Exodus in the Bible. So are you ready to begin? Me too. After many years, a new pharaoh or king came to be ruler. He did not remember what Joseph had done for Egypt. The people of God became slaves while the Pharaoh was king. They were trapped and the people of God could not leave. There were so many people of God in Egypt that the Pharaoh was afraid they would take his kingdom and all of his power away from him. So he made a horrible decision and had all of the baby boys of the people of God killed. One of the mothers made a basket and wove it together and filled it with a blanket and a stuffing, and she put her son into the basket, and she took it down to the River Nile, and she covered it with reeds and pushed it into the river. The basket floated down the river and was found by the Pharaoh's daughter. Pharaoh's daughter found the baby in the basket and named him Moses. Moses means to draw out in Hebrew. Moses was raised by the Pharaoh's daughter in the palace, just like any other Egyptian prince would be. One day, when Moses was a bit older, he saw an Egyptian beating one of the people of God. This made Moses very angry, and he killed the Egyptian man. Moses ran away into the desert after killing the Egyptian man. Moses stayed with the family of a man named Jethro, and then he married Jethro's daughter, Zipporah. Moses was a shepherd while he lived in the desert with Jethro's family. He lived there for 40 years. One day, while Moses was taking care of Jethro's sheep as a shepherd, he took them up to Mount Horeb, or also called Mount Sinai, the mountain of God. And when he was there, he saw an incredible thing. There was a bush that was totally engulfed in flames, but did not burn up. Even more mysteriously, God started speaking to Moses out of the bush. God told Moses that he was to go back to Egypt and free the people of God from Pharaoh. Moses said, "What? Me? Who am I to do such a thing?" God said, "I will be with you." Moses said to God, "Who are you? What is your name?" And God said, "I am Yahweh. I am who I am." Moses tried to get out of it and said, "Can't you just send someone else?" But God said, "No, you will go, and your brother Aaron will go with you and speak for you." So Moses went back to Egypt to tell the Pharaoh to let his people go. Moses went to the Pharaoh many times, and each time the Pharaoh said no. Terrible things happened in Egypt every time the Pharaoh said no. We call these the 7 plagues. Finally, after many terrible things had happened, Pharaoh said, "Yes, your people may go." God helped Moses lead the people out of Egypt through the sea when God parted the Red Sea for the people of God to march into freedom. Moses led the people through the desert for 40 years. The people of God grew tired and hungry and discouraged, and they complained to Moses a lot. God showed the people that God was still with them by giving them quail and manna to eat while they were in the desert. When the people were thirsty from traveling, they complained to Moses that they had nothing to drink. So Moses went and talked with God. God told Moses to strike a rock with a staff, and water would flow from it for the people to drink, so they were no longer thirsty. Something happened that made God angry with Moses. Moses did not keep faith with God in the midst of the people. So God told Moses that he would see but never enter the promised land. The promised land is where Moses was trying to lead the people of God away from Egypt. The people were free, but they didn't know the best way to go. Moses led the people back to Mount Sinai, where he had been earlier at the burning bush. Moses left the people of God and went up Mount Sinai to talk to God. Moses was there for a very long time. The people waited at the bottom of Mount Sinai and waited and waited and waited. The people began to think that maybe Moses wasn't going to come back for them. So they asked Aaron, Moses' brother, to make them a new god. Aaron took all of the women's gold jewelry and melted it down and made a gold calf for the people to worship. The people of God made an altar and started praising and praying to the new gold calf god that Aaron had created for them. Eventually, Moses did come down the mountain. And when he saw the people praising the golden calf and worshiping it, he became very angry. Because on the mountain of God, Moses had been given the 10 best ways. But when he saw the people praising the golden calf, he became angry and broke them. The people repented for not following God who had led them out of Egypt and not trusting Moses who God had sent to lead them. And God showed forgiveness and gave them the 10 best ways again. And then God told Moses to have the people build a very special box called an ark. This box was to be gold and to have handles on either side so that it could be carried anywhere that the people of God went. This is called the Ark of the Covenant, and this is where the 10 best ways were kept. God also told Moses to have the people build a tent, and inside the tent would be the sanctuary or the tabernacle where Moses would go and become close to God and talk to God. Whenever the people of God stopped in the desert, they would set up the tent, and Moses would go in and talk with God and come out with his face shining after being so close to God. After 40 years, they came to another mountain, Mount Nebo. Moses looked over from the top of the mountain into the promised land, but knew he would never go in. God said, "I will give this land to the people of God who you have led, but you will not cross over, Moses." Moses died there on the mountaintop, and to this day, no one knows where